5, 4, 3. I did the 2 and 1 silently.
Thank you. I'm glad you did.
And I pointed at Kevin, but he couldn't see me.
Yeah, because there's a monitor.
You're a monitor.
I'm a monitor lizard.
Yeah, I was wondering what the reptile is doing here.
Hey, can you hear us okay?
I can.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure. Here we go. We interrupt your regularly scheduled episode of Supernatural Selection to bring you the first annual Halloween Spooktacular. I am your host, Kevin the Bastard, and with me tonight, we have a very special occasion. With us is Mike the Skeptic.
Hey, I was across the room. Damn it. I didn't know I was first.
Okay.
We're off to a great start.
We are professional amateurs. So we have Mike the Skeptic. Woo! David Davis.
Woo, woo, woo.
And Clark Wayne.
Howdy.
That's right. We've got the whole damn crew here because we're going to be talking about some spooky stuff.
The
Now,
whole damn brood.
as we are talking, I have put out a call for questions. And it looks like we have gotten a couple, or at least one. So, awesome. Okay, we've got that. We'll go into that at the end of the episode like we typically do. And so, what we're doing this week is we're going to get together and talk about our own experiences with either the paranormal or the, as Mike would probably prefer to say, the hard to explain. How's that, Mike?
Hard to explain.
I'll tell you at the end.
Okay, hard to explain.
It's hard to explain why I'm hard.
Yo.
Because you're looking at tentacle memory.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dum dee dee. Hooah hooah. So, let's start this little telling with Mr. Clark Wayne. Clark, you have told us about your supernatural experiences with ghosts before, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Now, you told us about the ghost feet. Mm-hmm. You told us about the EVP stuff. Mm-hmm. What I would like to hear is, tell us about the Puckwudgie.
So, I was not actually at this party, but there was a Super Bowl party going on, and a friend of ours, or a friend of mine, who went to high school with, was at this party. Somebody took a picture of her. And, you know, as you do, take pictures at parties. Well, when they got the thing printed, there was a freaking Puckwudgie thing standing right next to her.
Yeah, it was blurred like it was moving very quickly.
Yeah. And
Now-
we have that picture, actually.
We do. It is on our Discord in the Bizarre News, I believe. So if you would like to see stuff as we post it like that, join our Discord.
And there were no kids at this party. It was adults only.
Do you know if
And
there
now,
were-
wasn't that the thing that looked like Mac from Mac and Me?
Absolutely. That's where I was going. Yes, thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
I
it's
see.
pretty
I
weird
see
looking.
nothing but a blurry dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
It's a
I don't,
very weirdly colored dog, though.
I don't know. I've seen dogs that are. It's not weirdly colored. It's like golden retriever / slightly little darker hue.
Okay, yeah. Admittedly,
It
but
looks weird.
It does look weird.
It's
Whatever
because it's
it
a
is.
blur. I've seen pictures of cats that were blurred that made them look like hell demons. When they are hell demons, but you know,
That's true. I still think it looks like Mac from Mac and Me.
it does bear the resemblance. But that's because Mac and me look like a piece of turd anyway.
I don't think Paul Rudd was
It's an
there at the
unsettling
party.
photo, at least.
It is unsettling. I'm willing to definitely give it that.
Yeah.
Now, have you got anything else up your sleeve that you've experienced, Clark?
I mean, just that time Mothman came to me.
Okay, yeah, that's great. You know, David's all about the Mothman. So, Clark, tell
Something
us
was there. It may not have been him, but
tell us about Mothman.
I was 17. It was 1996. Anyway, and I was in my bed, and I woke up and sensed like a presence in the room, and I woke up, and at the foot of my bed was this very skinny, very tall, whatever. So, naturally...
Can we talk about, like, what color was the whatever?
Just black.
Just a shadow,
Just
basically.
shadow,
Okay.
And I just, of course, threw the covers over my head and prayed. But then when I looked back, it was still there. So I put the covers over my head longer. And after a very long time, probably like 10 minutes, it was gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I don't know what it is. There was nothing that could have made the shadow.
Did he do anything to you?
Well, stuff started happening to me after that.
Okay.
Weird stuff, like I would put the radio on in my car, and I would change the channels, but the same song would be playing.
I've had that happen to me before.
Okay,
Not
yeah, but
related
that's
to
like
anything.
that's like an formerly Clear Channel thing.
Yeah. But yeah, I do remember the one thing he said. He said Atlanta.
It said Atlanta.
That was it.
Oh,
He says-
he's from the ATL, yo.
And then
Maybe he was asking for a ride to the airport.
Well, then a few weeks later was the Olympic bombing in Atlanta.
Oh,
So, yeah.
that's interesting.
But I don't know why the hell they would tell me. I was in Hattiesburg. This was
Yeah.
in Atlanta.
Well, I still find it interesting that it is still linked with a catastrophe. Atlanta is
Like
a
that.
great show.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
That is fucking weird.
By the
That
way,
is
the song that kept playing on every station was Black Velvet.
like in Black Velvet in that little boy's smile. Okay, yeah. I'm familiar with it. Who is that? Rosanna Cash or am I nuts?
Oh, it's Mike probably know.
Yeah, they had a country version and a rock version, and they're both actually pretty good.
Atlanta Miles. Atlanta Miles.
Okay, that works. So,
Wait, who?
Yep, that's it. Atlanta Miles.
I thought you said Atlanta at first. I'm like, wait a minute. You
No,
didn't
wait,
see the connection
Atlanta.
there?
wait, actually, though,
Synchronicities are forming.
synchronicities are forming. We're fucked. Somebody's going to see a can in their dreams, and we're all doomed.
You know, my wife found a
Maybe it didn't
balloon
say-
the other day.
maybe it didn't say
one of those
it,
metal
Atlanta,
balloons in a
maybe it-
parking spot. You know, that's one of those synchronicity things. If you watched Hellier,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Mike, what was it you
So I
said?
was saying maybe the Mothman didn't say Atlanta and it was Atlanta, and he was telling you he just really likes the song.
Probably.
You
So
know.
he kept making you hear it because he really likes the song.
Atlanta, Black Velvet. Maybe he was made of black velvet.
Maybe. But it was a very tall, very thin, almost like too thin to be a human.
So,
Probably.
Slender Man.
7 feet tall or maybe. And it just disappeared.
So a backwards
Slender Moth.
Slender
Slender
Moth.
Moth.
Yeah, I like
It's a
that.
combo.
I like that, David. All right, Clark. Thank you so much for sharing those two stories.
Your turn.
I appreciate. Oh, my turn. Okay. What do we want? Okay, let me talk about the fact that my family appears to be some form of weirdness magnet. Like,
Okay.
I'm sure I told the story. Didn't I tell the story about my great aunt's haunted house across the street? Okay, I told that on the ghosts
Yep.
episode. And the fact that, I'd look across the street and there was no power or anything over there, but the lights would turn on and I'd see the silhouette of my 20-year dead great aunt preparing for bed. So, creepy shit. But it kind of runs in the family in the sense that my dad had a lot of weird shit happen to him. And when I say weird shit, I mean, like, he didn't think it was weird, but, like, he told me about it. Okay, we're gonna cut this out. I think we've got rain coming down, and I can hear it.
You know what it was?
Well, I mean, there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
For those interested,
adds to the spooky.
the sound you're hearing in the background is the spooky sound of rain.
It was a dark and stormy night.
We need to edit in some sort of audio of like the woods in the background.
Oh, that'd be fun, yeah.
It actually sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, we're recording. What you don't know is we're recording in a shack with a tin roof.
And
Rusted.
rusted.
Or more like Lexan skylights, but, same thing.
So,
I can feel the spirits here with this
Lexan
now.
skylights are the first
this
world
house
tin roof.
is clear. So, my dad had like a lot of weird experiences. Like, you guys ever heard of like fish falls?
No.
Of course, David has. Mike?
You've told me about them.
Okay, the basic idea is that...
You should stop right there. If you ask me if I've heard of anything, it's usually yes from you.
Okay, that's fair. That's a very good point. So, my dad got caught in a fish fall
Okay.
in a field.
Like it's raining fish.
I prefer fish summer myself.
Minnows...
We check that it's fish outside right now.
Yes, it's actually raining fish at the moment. No,
They'd say it's carping.
It's pretty loud. That's not hail, is it?
no, it's just the Lexan on the skyline.
Maybe a little bit of perch mixed in.
Yeah,
Ambiance.
it's salmon.
No, that's too big. That'd be really thumping.
But like, he was out in the pasture doing something as a kid, and it started raining minnows. And I don't mean like a couple of fish. I mean like a shit ton to where he had to run inside.
Doesn't that happen a lot with water spouts?
Probably, but it's still weird as fuck.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, if I was outside and fish started falling from the sky, I'd be like, "What the fuck?"
You're not supposed to be up there.
You can't swim in clouds. It doesn't work like this.
Are you sure they weren't from Australia?
There's no way to know.
Because, they're opposite of us.
Oh, wait. How would they'd be shooting up from the ground then?
True. China?
Yes, China. Definitely China. But
Antarctica.
he had to run inside, and my grandmother told me, yeah, no, that happened. I remember when he ran inside screaming about the fish, and we looked outside, and there were friggin' minnows raining down from the sky.
It's free food.
Yeah, they did. Actually, they gathered it for bait.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because minnows are great for bait. Now, the other thing that happened in his childhood was... I don't know how to say it other than my dad would chase fucking ghost orbs with his friends through the graveyard.
Okay.
Like the size of a softball. Not like small orbs, like big ones.
You mean like small orbs, like the ones that are fake?
Yeah, no, not the ones that show up in photography. I'm talking about like big glowing spheres.
That's an angel.
Whatever.
Huge glowing spheres.
I got some huge glowing spears, baby.
I don't want to see your huge glowing spheres.
Let me shake them around a little bit.
Oh, God. So, he saw these things with his friends, and they would chase him. It was a game. They'd run laughing through the graveyard and then through the woods after the spheres, and he told me about this, and I was like, that's not fucking normal, right? I mean, nobody grew up doing that. Well, I did. Well, you're fucking weird. So, I mean, that was just odd in general to me, And, I mean, I love that my father had these experiences. Now, the only other thing he had happen that was really, really weird was, it's a, quote, scientific fact that there are no large black panthers in Mississippi. Mm-hmm. All right.
Wakanda forever.
What's that?
Wakanda forever.
Yes. But like,
no, he was in Mississippi. He filmed that James Brown movie here.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
That was pre-Black Panthers.
Yeah, but it was still. Yeah, he's over here doing the Wakanda forever thing. Just to point out, the only person I can see right now is Clark. So it's and Ginger, my kitty cat Ginger. But like they heard something. I have to explain the setup of the homestead where he was at this point. It was my grandmother's house, and there was her house. And if you're standing on the front porch, you're facing the road. Off to the right, and a little in front of you is the garage, and then off to the left, a good distance from the house, because of the smell, was the chicken house. I don't know if anyone here or listening has ever smelled chicken shit.
No, but there's some people that come in where I work. They work at a local somewhere
Walmart
chicken processing.
He's at a Yankee Candle factory.
They work at a chicken processing plant. That smell, man, I don't know how they work in there.
That's not even it, dude.
That's
chicken
like,
shit.
Those people
bad,
usually
though.
come in smelling like chicken nuggets.
Yeah,
That makes me hungry.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. When those people come to me, and I'm like, man, I want some school lunch.
Well, no, these
Like
smell
a
like
chicken
pervasive, like raw chicken smells. Like,
Oh, yeah.
and it stays after they leave for about 30 seconds.
Sure, yeah, no, but that doesn't bother me. I'm used to that. I used to live down the street from the Tyson chicken plant. No, I'm talking about chicken shit.
No.
It is. I don't know another word to describe it other than disastrous.
So who decided we should eat these things?
Hungry people.
I guess so.
It's like also it kept waking him up in the morning. It's like I'm gonna kill that fucking bird. Well, what are you gonna do with it then? I don't know. Fucking eat it. So
Make chicken and dumplings.
It's mammalian revenge for the dinosaurs.
it really is, man. Yeah, who's bigger now, bitch? So they hear something is disturbing the chickens at night, and chickens sleep at night. Typically, you only hear that if there's like the proverbial fox in the hen house. So my dad gets his rifle. Let me rephrase that. My dad gets his shotgun, which I still have that shotgun. He
So
got
it destroys a chicken.
Oh yeah, but he's
Feathers.
it's just a cloud, just a red and white mist. So
I was gonna say something bad, but I'm gonna go
yeah,
back.
let's not go there. He gets a shotgun and he goes to check on the chickens with a lantern to give you some idea of what era we're talking about. Okay, and he goes, there's nothing there, and he turns to go back to the house, and there in the light of the lantern between him and the house is a large jet black cat the size of a panther or a tiger, you know, huge fucking cat.
Huge.
And
Kitty.
they are not, the scientists will tell you to your face you're a liar if you tell them that you ran into a large black panther of any kind.
I mean,
in
people are
Mississippi.
stupid. They'll capture those things when they're babies and try to make them pets, and that type of shit escapes all the time.
Sure, yeah,
Yeah, Tiger King shit.
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, like, this is a actual like breeding population situation because one of my former bosses, his aunt was killed by one from horseback.
Jeez.
It leapt up, pulled her off, clawed her back, and tore her throat out. And
Jesus.
yeah. So the scientists can say there are no large black cats, but my fucking father saw one, and my grandmother was just wailing because she saw it out the window.
I see one now.
That's Mr. Conti.
Oh.
He's my kitty.
They can't all be your cat, Kevin.
Well, shush. So,
He's the one who owns the podcast.
yeah. But, yeah, I can't think of anything else in particular with my dad. And, like, you know, I've seen some weird stuff in the sky before, like UFO-ish stuff. But, like...
So I couldn't get a word in earlier.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The orb thing
Yeah, go for
that
it.
you told me about your dad. Well, my dad. So has everybody here seen the movie The Explorers?
No.
Yes.
Negative.
Who did it have?
River Phoenix.
Yeah, River Phoenix, and didn't it have what's his name?
Corey Feldman.
Yeah, Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
River Phoenix.
Yeah, it's like one of those boy adventure movies.
Yeah. So
and you remember the German dad?
Yeah.
Wolfgang, where's my bug bomb? He's just
so I
looking for
guess
his bug
Kevin
bomb
and
the
I
whole
are the only
movie.
ones that have seen it. Well, anyway, in the movie, one of the kids, I think it was River Phoenix,
Yeah.
has a dream, and this dream is like it's all 80s 80s CGI, you know, Tron level stuff. But he sees a computer, what looks like a computer circuit, and he describes it to his like super nerdy friend, and they build it not knowing what it does, and it turns out it makes like, at first it makes a small force field that's just a blue sphere. Mm-hmm. And my dad told me that movie always tripped him out because when he was a kid he saw a blue sphere that he chased on his bicycle.
You know what? It's creepier coming from you
Well, I mean, I've told you this story
Yeah,
before.
I know, but it's still creepier coming from you.
And,
Well,
it's just, he said it looked just like it did in that movie.
Yeah. That's pretty fucked up. Now, your dad had, like, another experience, didn't he?
Yeah, so he definitely liked the aliens and stuff, and he claimed he had a it just sounded like night terrors to me, but where a thing where he woke up and couldn't move, and he heard what sounded like alien radios outside the bedroom, like because his head was like at the exterior wall. But that's night terrors. You can't believe anything that happens at a night terror. It's your brain still dreaming.
I don't know. I'd still wake up and have to clean my pants out after that.
I've had night terrors. It's scary
yeah,
as shit.
they suck. I've had them twice, like 2 nights in a row, and
But
do
it's
not recommend it.
it's definitely nothing I can credit because
Sure.
it's your brain going haywire.
Also, you are Mike the Skeptic.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
of course
Yeah.
I am.
Now,
All the time I did ghost hunting. Only ever saw the ghost feed. That's the only thing I really saw physically. But we had a lot of EVP stuff, and
some of it more credible than
yeah,
others.
and that's basically the gist of what we had.
Well, when we were filming a movie, we had a crazy microphone set up that picked up Mexican radio.
That is true. We were filming in Clinton, and
So our setup was, it was a Super 8mm camcorder with a fairly large extension for a microphone that was inside a car. So we're filming, over the hood of the car through the windshield.
now I need to point out we were towing the car.
No, we weren't towing. This was a static shot in Scott's driveway.
Oh, right. My bad.
So, but we were shooting through the windshield, but to get the audio from the inside, I had rigged up a long cord. It was a long, headphone jack style cord, because that's all our microphone was. But we put the microphone up in like the sun visor of the car and ran it out the door and along the hood so you couldn't see it. And very faintly in the background of one of the takes, you can hear this Mexican radio announcer speaking Spanish.
Yeah, and the other footage is great. You could hear like mariachi music and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, like the end of that Queens of the Stone Age song.
Yeah. So, electronics do weird things.
Oh yeah, I mean,
because
like
this is a video camera. It is not set up to. I don't know if it was FM. It was probably more likely shortwave. Because shortwave's a lot easier to demodulate than FM.
Well, have you ever seen like a standard shortwave antenna?
Yeah.
It's a microphone cable that you hang on your wall.
Well, yeah, I mean, but also shortwave is I think shortwave's still amplitude modulated, which you can make a crystal radio that's unpowered by anything other than the radio waves itself. So it's just one of those relics that are super easy to pick up with very cheap stuff.
Now, let me jump over to David here for a minute. What we'll do is we'll do another round of stories. But we're going to go ahead and jump over to Mr. David Davis. David, you're a spook monster. Tell us about your experiences, my friend.
Well, I have had a few experiences, but there's really one that stood out. So I guess I'll just go ahead and tell the story. But do you remember the 2XL toy robot?
2XL toy robot.
So it was a robot that was also, it was a toy robot that was also a tape deck, and what you would do is you'd play the tape, and then he would say, he'd like quiz you or something, and then you'd press a button and fast forward the tape to a certain spot. Yeah, so we're familiar with that. There was one that came out in the early 80s, and then there was a 1990s version that looked a little more Star Warsy.
Yes.
So,
Clark has pulled up a picture of it, and it definitely looks kind of like the pilot from Star Tours.
I remember that thing.
Didn't like Ashens or someone do a video?
He did.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of those.
Yeah. So I come from a relatively poor family, really.
Right.
So like I wasn't able to get like new toys and stuff like that.
Right.
So I must have been about, I'd say maybe about 9 years old. My brother would have been about 6. He and I shared a bedroom, bunk beds and everything like that. So my parents one day, they brought back a 2XL for me. Not in a box, anything like that. So it's a box. It was the robot. It came with a couple different tapes and everything like that. And I love that thing. I played that thing all the time.
They had an 8-track version.
That's what I'm saying. The original was an 8-track. And actually, I like the way the original looked. It's very
Yeah, the one that I had was the cassette tape.
Yeah,
looked like a little bit like a Star Wars robot.
Yeah.
So, I absolutely love that thing. Like, if anyone knows me well, they know that I fucking love robots. Robots are like the thing. Like, if a robot dies in a movie, I cry and everything like that.
Yeah, no, I had the same problem as a kid.
Yeah. So, I play that thing all the time. And, when you play with these things all the time, you get to know the sounds they make, right? Like, very distinctly, like, what does the key sound like when you press down on it? What does the little laugh of the robot sound like? So, this was around summer, I think a couple of years later. I wasn't playing with the thing as much, but I still held on to it. It was a robot, so I kept it on a shelf in my bedroom.
Right.
A high shelf where my little brother couldn't get to it. Now,
because they break things.
They do.
Yeah, I had that exact same issue. My brother destroyed a Stretch Armstrong doll that I had.
If anybody's going to break my toy, it's me.
Yeah.
You ever busted one of those things and the ooze comes out? It's disgusting. Yeah,
it was awful. So, I'm a little older. I'm playing video games and stuff, right? That's like what I do at that age. I had a Super Nintendo. I think I was playing like Super Mario All-Stars. And it was summer, so my parents let me stay up for as long as I want. So the Super Nintendo was out in the living room, and I'm up until I'd say maybe 2 in the morning playing it. Now, you gotta understand, that doll, that 2XL toy, I knew the sound of that thing intimately. So, while I'm out playing Super Nintendo in the living room, I hear the thing do its laugh.
What?
Yeah, so I hear the thing do its laugh. I'm a little freaked out. I walk down the hallway and enter the bedroom, and I see, the thing is still up on the shelf. My brother's asleep on the bottom bunk, but there's no way that he can reach up to that shelf. Because I actually had to have I had to have my dad help me put the thing on the top shelf, because I was using that as decor, you know what I mean? So, I'm a little freaked out. I'm like, okay, there's no way this thing is on or anything like that. It hasn't been on in a month. Right. So I head back in the living room, start playing my video game again, and I hear it start doing the laugh again.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, God.
And it's a very distinct laugh. There was no way I could confuse it for anything going on in Super Mario Brothers. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, that thing, it worried me, and it was something that stuck out in my mind for years. So what happened was, about 10 years ago, I'm in my mid-20s, and I'm talking with my mom, and I'm like, we were talking about ghosts and stuff, because she said she's seen some stuff, that sort of thing. So I was telling her about my experience with the 2XL doll, or the 2XL toy. And her face actually gets pale. And the reason why is that she tells me that she got the doll from a yard sale. And the toy belonged to a kid who had died of cancer a month prior.
Yikes.
So it was a very, very strange experience, and that whole revelation, because that's the thing is I had other toys that came from children who had passed away. That's how I got a bunch of my old Ninja Turtles toys. There was a kid who was collecting Ninja Turtles, and he had passed away, and my parents were able to get in the yard sale. But But yeah, that's one of those stories that's always kind of stuck out to me. It's one of the creepiest things I've been through, especially when you look back on it and getting that news 10 years later.
I always worry about attachment attached items, like, because I've heard of those before. So when I go shopping, like at the flea market, I'm usually kind of wary of what I buy.
Yeah,
like,
my wife actually does smudging now. So, like, if we get something, she'll actually, like, do the sage and she'll do, like, smudging because my wife's, she does the witchcraft thing.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you something, David, and I don't mean any offense by this, but how many kids did your parents kill for you?
Probably more than I would care to admit.
Okay, that's fair. It's just when you said the yard sale, the first thing I thought is, oh hell, it's Chucky.
Right. Well, it's interesting because, like, you know that I'm obviously a huge fan of Chucky.
Oh yeah, no, not like you have a whole fucking podcast about it.
Yeah, it's like I got my podcast,
I'm
but
a huge
you know,
fan
it's
of Jennifer Tilly.
It's
Okay, yeah, it's fair.
It's like my own kind of Chucky experience in a way.
Yeah.
Good thing it, didn't have really mobile arms. It looks like a robot.
God.
Yeah, like it didn't have any moving parts or anything like that. But
Thing would have fallen down, done a combat roll under the couch, and fucking murdered you.
And the next day I like had my dad pull it down and I checked and there were like batteries in there and I didn't really say anything about it. But it was one of those things that just kind of stands out to you.
You should have taken the batteries out and then put it back up there. See what
That
happened.
would have been even worse, man. That would have been even worse.
Christ, yeah.
It didn't do it again, at least not that I noticed. But it, just memories, like really creepy memories.
Yeah, no, it's totally understandable.
Yeah.
And I want to come back to another Child's Play related thing with you here in a bit. But because it's you talked about it on the kids' stuff, but like we'll get back to that. So I got another one. Kit asked me to bring this up because Kit actually had a question, but we'll get to that later. But we're actually kind of answering it. What's the ridiculous paranormal experience you've had? I'm just gonna go. I don't know that I'm gonna answer this right now because it's sort of creepy. Kit and I went to Hardy, Arkansas, and it's become an antique sellers and buyers paradise.
Yeah, attachment
I was
items.
going to make a really dumb joke just now because you said Hardy, Arkansas. I was like, well, it's Carl's Jr. Arkansas over here in California.
I like that entirely too much. Okay. So we're in Carl's Jr. Arkansas. Now we're in Hardy, and this is an old damn town. Like, set up and all the buildings are a century or older, and every single fucking one of them is an antique store. It is a Stephen King story come to life, all right, just as far as that's concerned. And formerly, one of the buildings was also an antique store. It was the old Hardy Hotel, all right? And it is, quote, it was, quote, officially haunted. It was declared haunted by, I don't know, whoever the hell you pay enough money to print you out a certificate that says officially haunted. I don't know how that works. What's that?
A con artist.
Yes. Okay.
I'll do it for $100.
Again, con artist.
Yeah, pay me and I'll say anything you want.
Yeah. Shit, pay me $20. I'll sign anything as Stan Lee. All right.
You want me to eat that dog turd? Pay me $50 and I'll do it.
I will sell you a bagel with Stan Lee written on it and mustard. So anyway, we're in Hardy, and I'm in this building, and they got like a lot of neat stuff. There's a couple things I'm thinking about buying downstairs, and the guy starts telling us about how haunted the place is because there was a murder committed upstairs in the back hotel room.
Yikes.
So I'm like, well, fuck, I gotta see this. All right. I'm like automatically like, yeah, gimme. So me and Kit go upstairs, and I go into the room, and I'm kind of feeling for cold spots, with my hand out, because I don't have any kind of equipment. I'm not a professional. And I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? I would start... Kid says I taunted the ghost, but I don't think I taunted the ghost. What I did...
you taunted the ghost.
Don't want to do that.
I asked for a sign. Show me some proof that you're here.
You forgot to include the word bitches, because that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Show me a sign, bitches.
Show me a sign, you bitch. What are you, a pussy?
Hey, Zach Bacon's all of a sudden?
Yeah, pretty much. So, anyway, I turn around, and Kid is still in the hallway because she heard there was a ghost in there, and she immediately was like, I'm not going in. I am not going in that room. And that's when I felt something touch my neck. Like a finger. Like right under my hairline, go down to my shirt collar.
So you got spectral fingered?
I got fingered. And,
Did you say lower?
no. My eyes got big, and I ran/fell down the stairs. Speed walked toward the door with Kit going, I thought you were going to buy that camera. And I'm going, I get out in the street and explain what happened, and she's like, I told you not to do that.
Yeah, it's not a good idea.
Yeah, so that was creepy as shit. Like, that is just like straight up one of the creepiest things I've ever experienced. So, yeah. Clark, have you got anything else new, or would you like to cover something else that happened to you that we've covered before, since it's appropriate?
Never had anything too crazy. I mean, I did, so while I was in, for those of y'all who haven't listened to the last episode I was in, I was a paranormal investigator for about 4 years in Hattiesburg. So we were trying to come up with new equipment to, the EVPs get recorded, but you don't actually hear them when they're actually being said. You have to go back and listen to the tape and, and all that stuff. So we were trying to find ways for that to get past that. So I had this piece of equipment that was super sensitive. So I set up a mic in my living room, just stupid. Put it on a stand, and I put the headphones on. And so I started talking to whatever was in my living room. I said, if you're here, tap the microphone. All right? So a second goes by, and here, tap on the microphone. I was like, well, that could have been anything. It could have been. I said, all right, so I'll do it again. And it did it again. And I was like, okay, I'm done. I turned everything off, put it away.
Yep.
Like, nope. Don't need to know anything else.
I've heard you should never ghost hunt your own house.
You should never do that.
Yeah, that's spooky as hell.
You're also not supposed to play Ouija board by yourself. So.
Well, yeah.
Which I have.
Which, one of the original plans for this episode was me and Mike were going to get a Ouija board and, like, try to contact somebody. And I was sitting here thinking, the Mr. Bean. I don't know. Just somebody dumb.
He was still alive.
I know. Well, the character.
Oh.
Yeah.
I could just imagine Rowan Atkinson in the UK just like going into a trance, foaming at the mouth, trying to talk to us as the spirit of Mr. Bean.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so I can't be around Ouija boards anymore.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons we didn't do it is because Clark was so adamant about I don't want to be in the house.
Yeah,
if y'all do that.
Well, I'll tell you what happened the last time I played, which was by myself. I was around 9 or so. I'd got one for my birthday.
I got a thought.
What?
Can you save that for the next go round of stories?
Sure.
Awesome. Thank you. Because I want to move on. I think Mike has at least another story, don't you, Mike?
Yeah, because you haven't called on me yet. I've just interrupted people.
Hey, let's go back to David.
No. Well, you interjected, and I was like, yes, let's go with that.
But is he going to believe any of his stories? He is the skeptic.
Well,
like the ending's already written.
So the only thing that's two things I have. Well, one of they're both explained, but so the earliest one I can remember, it wasn't that early either. It was like I was in high school.
So but it was when I knew you.
Yes, it was the first time. I don't know how long we'd lived in this house, but it was the first. This house was the first time I had a room to myself, much like you, David. growing up, I'd shared a room with my brother in
This
every
is
other
the
house.
bigger Lake Road house, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and also it was the first time I had like more than a twin size bed. Which, side note, for a long time as a kid, I was scared to death of full size beds because I had seen the first Friday the 13th movie when I was like
Wait,
8.
Friday the 13th?
Not Friday, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right, with the blood shooting out of the
Yeah,
mattress.
where Johnny Depp got sucked into the mattress and shot all over the ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that scarred me for several
Johnny
years.
Depp Bukkake.
Yeah. But anyway, so there I am. And so layout of my room. So there's my, at the foot of my bed, there is my dresser, and it's a full dresser with a thing on top that has a mirror and, shelves on either side of the mirror and all this stuff.
Didn't it even have like lights in it?
Yeah, it had like a little light at the top that, could turn on.
It was the finest furniture 1978 had to
the
offer.
finest wood sawdust and glue could make. But so I was laying in bed and just, I guess, couldn't get to sleep, and I just happened to look down at my feet, and past my feet, and I must also note I wear glasses, so I couldn't really see much, but I saw a faint green glow somewhere near between me and, the dresser, which was against the wall. I lay there for probably a full minute just thinking, what do I do? What do I do? Do I get up? Do I not get up? My headboard also had a light on it. So I reach up and I turn that light on, and the glow I don't see anymore, but I don't see anything else there. So I'm, okay, what the fuck was that?
It's the Green Lantern.
So I put my glasses on and crawl out of bed, walk over, and look at my dresser. And there, on my dresser, was my glow-in-the-dark wristwatch.
Dun, dun, dun.
Laying on its side, so it faced towards me. And the hands going around made the glow imperceptibly move around.
Nice.
I still love that story. I mean, yeah, okay, you figured out what it was, but it's creepy to think about.
Oh, yeah, no, like I said, I
yeah.
laid there for a solid minute just staring at it, afraid to look away from it, like, what the fuck is this?
That's funny, but like I can imagine that moment of terror.
This wasn't the house where my dad had his alien thing. That was actually at the house across the lake from it.
Yeah, you lived on both sides of this lake.
Yeah,
there was Lake Road East and West, right?
Yeah, so there's this little lake that had a bunch of houses at different times built around.
Yeah.
It was like, turns out it was like a former plantation.
Yeah.
Because, well, pretty much everything around here is a former plantation.
That's true.
But
Now, Yeah, go
around the
ahead.
corner from the first house we lived in the area, there's like these 2 brick columns for like what was once a fancy gate. But
I guarantee you, I want to go out there and scare the shit out of myself at night.
and so that was like, so if you're looking at overhead, trying to orient
That was
myself
the
which way it
cat.
was.
That was not a ghost.
Yeah.
She knocked over my pill bottles.
So, yeah, so that was the lake. To the north of the lake was the first house, and the gate. To the very south of the lake was the second house.
Right.
And a little further south and west was the graveyard for the, I guess, the plantation, because the graves there were old as fuck. It was surrounded by an electric fence, but we did hop the fence once as teens and go in there.
I didn't.
Yeah, you weren't there. This was
No.
like Bob and my brother Bob and the neighborhood
Okay.
hoodlums.
Yeah, no, I was a pussy. I wasn't about to do that.
And yeah, so it was a full on plantation with graveyard and everything.
That's just creepy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice little lake, I guess, for your.
Gotta have a place to hide the bodies.
I don't know, there could have been some like slaves drowned in that little lake.
Oh God, that's
It was a big
nightmare.
lake. It was about the size of, say, a football field, I would say.
Yeah.
except kind of arrowhead shaped.
That's weird.
So there was another weird thing that happened out there.
Okay, I'm going to give this one to you since we did kind of skip you over on the last one unintentionally.
We were, I don't remember what I was doing when it happened, but we heard a loud boom.
Oh.
And we go outside, and it's like the clouds are very high and very thin, and the moon is pretty high, so it's, shining through the clouds. But just that very thin sheet of clouds, pretty much from horizon to horizon. But they're sort of to the north, but it's so high up, it's hard to tell exactly how far. We could have been, 5 miles away, could have been, 50 miles away. But there was a perfect circle in the cloud cover.
Aliens.
I think it was probably a meteorite.
Yeah, it's still creepy.
Well, yeah.
Now, David, Mike,
yes.
Mike, thank you for those stories.
Okay.
Thank you.
David, I would like for you, if I may, to tell everyone about your Child's Play experience with you and your parents, and not the robot.
Will I also be able to do my other story?
You know what? Do your other story first.
Well, no, let's do the Child's Play thing first.
Okay, because I love this story.
Okay.
Because after this, I'm going to tell something that may scare people, and I would love for there to be a little levity.
Oh, there we go. All right, so I'll save my other story for later. So, okay, so I've mentioned that I'm a huge fan of Child's Play, huge fan of Chucky, everything like that. My parents were very lax about what I watched as a small child. I spent a lot of time watching horror movies as a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just as I grew up. I always had like horror movies on in the background. They let me watch whatever. Very permissive. So as a little kid, about I think like 5 or 6, no, maybe even earlier, like maybe 4 or 5. I like my favorite movie was Child's Play.
At 4 or 5.
Yes, at 4 or 5, my absolute favorite movie was Child's Play. Well, around that time, this was also when the My Buddy dolls were popular. The Cabbage Patch Kids that were marketed for boys.
Yeah.
They had Kid Sister one too.
Yeah.
Kid Sister.
So again, it's another one of those yard sale finds. They get me a My Buddy doll.
That's even creepier than the robot.
Right. I have a lot of fun, creepy stuff that comes from yard sales. So, my parents gave me this My Buddy doll, and, I love that thing. I was also a big fan of Chucky. So, one day, my parents come out into the living room, they see that I have Chucky on, and I have the My Buddy doll on the floor, my hand on the face of the doll, and the other hand raised in the air, doing the soul transference chant. Ah, due dembula, give me the power, I beg of you.
I'm telling you, this is one of my favorite things you've ever told me.
Yeah, and they were more amused than frightened, but it's still a very, very strange situation and explains a lot about me.
It really does, and it also, I'm glad I'm not a parent, because if I was, I'm pretty sure my immediate reaction would be, well, the boy's got to die now.
It's one of those things, it's like, it defines me in a lot of ways, and that's me, my full personality coming out of 4 or 5 years old. You know what I mean?
That's when you first really came online.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's a great story. I've always loved that one. You fucking trying to transfer your soul into a My Buddy is great. So
the question is, what would I have done after I had done the transfer? Was I going to murder somebody?
My Chucky.
Who wonders?
My Chucky. Yeah, I could see that. I'm kind of surprised they haven't put that out as a tie-in merch thing with the Child's Play movies.
Well, you can just buy good guy dolls now.
Can you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to Google
Spencer's
it now.
Gifts has Chucky and Tiffany dolls.
Oh dear.
My own personal Jennifer Tilly.
That's That's sick, dude.
Don't put a fleshlight in it.
Oh, God. You remember that picture that dude took of, like, he had the green fleshlight stuck between his two mattresses, and he had a picture of Yaddle from episode 1?
The other good one is the one where the dude took the skeleton, which we wonder if it's a real skeleton, and he made a Lola bunny out of it.
Oh, God, he made the fur bunny with a real skeleton. Jesus. I hate that.
That's terrible.
That would be a good episode, like fearful cringe. You know what I mean?
And you know what? You just gave the scariest story of the night right there.
We need to have a key party episode talking about effed up sex stuff.
We do.
That would be good to put on there.
And we're also going to do one about alien sex, and I want, as many people on there as we can that I can scar. So, speaking of aliens, all right, I need to stress it. I've been into the paranormal and supernatural and what have you since I was a wee nip,
I find that shocking.
Really? Do you?
No, I do not.
No. So, I knew about UFOs and aliens and everything, so let's just go forward assuming this is a dream, all right? Mm-hmm. So, I'm asleep in bed, and it's in probably junior high school, and I wake up in the dream, I'm assuming.
Okay.
And something is wrong. Like, you know what I mean by the Oz factor in a situation? Or like,
no.
I'm in a period.
You were there, and you were there.
Well, I'm in a period of what we'll call high strangeness. Something isn't right. The world doesn't feel right. There are no lights, but I can see. Okay. I can make everything out in my room even though the lights are out. And Mike, you know the house that I grew up in.
Yeah.
All right, so I jump out of bed, and the other thing is there is this loud electrical type hum, like a generator, like
transformer.
Like a transformer, yeah. God damn it. So there's this loud electrical hum, and I am terrified. And for some reason, I think, go check on your mom. Now, there would be times I would get up to go get something to drink in the night, and my mom would be sitting on the couch smoking. So imagine the nightmare of going into the kitchen, not paying attention, getting something to drink, turning around, and then just seeing the silhouette of my mother with a lit cigarette sitting on the couch at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
It's a fucking nightmare. Well,
that was a reality.
Yeah, it's a nightmare that happened with that.
Frequently.
Yes. So I run out into the living room to see if she's there, and she's not. And the hum is louder. So I'm like, okay. I'm going to check in the bedroom, and I look, and my mom is gone. She is nowhere. This is a tiny house. 2 bedrooms, a bathroom with the door open with the light on.
She's an alien.
And a living room. And a kitchen. And there's nobody in the living room or kitchen. Nobody in my room now. Can see in the bathroom. No one's in there. Go in the bedroom. My mom's gone. My dad's still asleep on his side in the bed. And I do the only logical thing you can do, which is I jump in the bed with my father and pull the covers over my head. Because I am fucking terrified of whatever's going on. And I'm laying there just panting. I'm like, okay. I'm going to take a look. So I pull the covers down. And there, in my face, nose to nose almost, not touching, but seriously, within 2 inches of my face, is a gray. Those huge black eyes, and it's smirking at me.
Your mom was an alien.
And then I woke up in time for school. And that's all I remember about what I hope to God was a dream.
Where were you when you woke up?
In my bed.
Okay.
In my bed.
It was very wet, too, so...
I had been sweating, I'm not going to lie. I was sweating.
Yeah, sure, sweat.
No, trust me here.
Well, sweat is skin pee.
Yeah. Okay. He's
No,
got
I
a
mean,
point.
seriously, it's chemically
it's
very the same.
yeah. But I get up and I do not mention this to my parents because why the fuck would I mention this to my parents?
True.
My dad was asleep the entire time, which doesn't surprise me. The man slept through Hurricane Camille in the 1960s.
I mean, I would have just been like, "Hey, Mom, I got up to get a glass of water and I couldn't find you. Where were you last night?" That's what I would have done.
No, I'm not doing that shit. We're a horrible, horrible family that keeps secrets from each other. There's no way I'm going to bring this up to her. We were a damaged group, so...
I have some UFO stuff.
Oh, yes, that's right.
I got a few.
So let's go with one of your UFO stories there, Clark.
Well, I got a few, but probably the weirdest one was,
Is this the one you told me at work?
I don't know
Okay.
which one I told you.
Well, just
I
tell
have missed
one then.
time and other stuff, but I could tell that one too if you want. But the one that was really weird was I was driving to my friend's house who lived maybe like 10 minutes from me, and we were leaving my house. They were in their car. My friend and another friend of mine were in her car. I was in my car alone, driving to her house on this back country road, no lights, no street lights or anything.
Country road taking you home?
Yeah. So I got the windows down. It's cool. And so I noticed something behind me. It's like a light, but the light looks like it's like 2 inches from the ground. And it's following me at a steady pace. So it just looked weird. So I let off the gas, and I could hear nothing. You'd think that if it was like a car or a truck or something behind me, that they would have an
Road
engine
noise or something, yeah.
It's just nothing. So I did that a few times. I said, you know what? F this. So I hit the gas, went to my friend's house. So I get to the house and I'm waiting on them. They pull up. Both of them get out of the car and their eyes are freaking huge. They're like, "Did you see that? Did you see that?" And I was like, "What?" So we saw like a UFO and it went right into this lake that's my friend's house. I was like, because I didn't have a cell phone, so I didn't call and tell them what I had seen.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. But other than that, I have missing time. I went to get something for lunch one Sunday and bring it back to my mom's house, and it was sunshiny, and I get to this railroad tracks, and then I just happened to look at the clock, and then the next thing I know, I'm on the other side of the railroad tracks, it's pouring down rain. And it was like 10 minutes later.
Are you saying you got a alien quickie?
I got lost time is all I know.
Okay. So you stroked out.
Probably.
Okay.
Lost time is always like really creepy. Like
Yeah.
it fucks with you, dude.
It does. It still fucks with me. That was years ago.
Yeah, I've had missing time, but that's because I drank too much. That's a completely different thing entirely.
It was interesting.
Mike, how about you? What you got with aliens? Or something that other people would interpret as aliens. How's that?
Nothing personally. I mean, I already told you about my dad.
Yeah. Well,
my deity.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I don't really have anything.
Like, do you remember that time you and me were somewhere around Pearl and it was like late at night?
And you kept seeing UFOs?
No, there was a like, we're driving along, there's no noise or anything, but just all of a sudden for a split second it is literally as bright as day, and then it's black again, and we're both really confused going, what the fuck was that?
No.
You don't remember that at all?
I mean, it sounds a little familiar, but I don't remember what my what I determined it was.
I think you kept going, lightning.
No, because we would have heard a crash.
Yeah.
Lightning crash.
Could have been a meteorite. I've seen those light up the sky pretty
That's
bright.
true. Oh yeah, there's that one in Russia where it just suddenly turned into day and then wasn't. That's fair.
And those, a lot of times you don't really hear about those because they break up and basically, just disintegrate.
Yeah. That's a rational explanation. Fuck.
Damn it, Mike strikes again.
Yeah. Mike, you got any other creepy stories though?
No, well, so the only other
I don't
thing,
mean like the creepy, touchy uncle at Christmas.
the only
we doing
other
those stories.
thing
Oh,
that
hell no, we're not doing those stories. Go ahead, Mike.
oh no, well, I don't have those stories, but
Well, if only we were all so
Sure.
lucky. No, I'm kidding.
but no, so it was it 4 years ago, 3 years ago maybe, that I went to New York, DC, and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you went to Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
so I had
tell
a
that.
friend. So a friend was having a wedding, and a bunch of other friends and I decided to make a whole event out of it. So
And they all
were,
died.
yeah. So they were having the wedding in Pittsburgh, and they were going to have it for basically they were going to have a week of stuff going on. They provided a Airbnb for, I think it was like 20 people or something like that. And it was cool. The way this place was set up was like all like kind of small apartments. So anyway, so we stayed there for a week, before, during, and after the wedding. But one of the things we did during this, well, so we did several things. We did like whitewater rafting where we almost all died. We went to, this is spooky in itself. We went to this like local quote unquote museum, but it was really like someone's sideshow attraction, arts and crafts bomb, where it had basically stuff like dentures glued into fish mouths. And the guy apparently he sculpted people for like railroad trains. Like he did the actual sculpting of those, and the company would produce them. So, one of the cases was just all his, work. But they apparently always wore, like, crushed velvet, and he had a top hat and the little round glasses. And, she would always wear... We didn't see him during it. I'm assuming he was just, like, upstairs watching, like, the game or something.
Watching.
But
Oh, is this the Oddities Museum?
Yeah, the
thing?
Oddities
Right,
Museum.
yeah.
We've got one of those.
She conducted the tour and everything, and she was, like, wearing a corset, all that, but
like to see
that was
that.
really creepy in a different way. That was a human creepy.
Yeah.
That was just weird people creepy. But, they're like dolls with their arms in weird arms and no arms, and just weird taxidermy shit. And
We've got
That's
one of those
cool.
oddity places here. Y'all been to it?
No, I still need to go.
They got actual like skeletons of actual people for sale.
Ooh.
Like hands.
Love stuff
and-
like
thank
that.
you, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, one of the other things we did was we went to a baseball game, and that was really weird. No, we did go to a baseball game, and that was kind of weird, but because I've never been to one. But
Because they were all dead.
we went on a trip, so this was in Pittsburgh. Went into a trip into Kevin. I can never remember how to pronounce this town or the area. Was it Allegheny?
Allegheny.
I always put too many syllables or letters in there. But
It's
the
like I know how to
Allegheny-
spell banana, but I don't know how to stop spelling banana.
the Allegheny State Penitentiary.
Right.
Yeah. So it was a prison that was built in the early 1900s, like 1903 or 05 or something like that. And it was continuously run, housing prisoners up until 1993 or 5 or something like that. So
Imagine being imprisoned in a haunted prison.
yeah. So and they had an electric chair there, so they killed motherfuckers there. Mm-hmm. And
Of course, it's called Old Sparky.
yeah, and they one of the exhibits, like, so they had like a little gift shop, front area that was inside. And one of the things they had the electric chair, and then next to it they also had a Gatling gun. And they explained that the Gatling gun was there because it was a prison camp, and they decided to build a permanent prison. And so they set up Gatling guns around the perimeter to make the guys work and build the prison.
They made the prisoners build their own fucking prison.
Yes.
Wow.
They called it the motivator.
Yes. So, anyway, this is a famously haunted prison. There's a couple of, pretty well-known photographs that have been taken there. And so what they do on the tours, they have a person take you around, give you the tour. But apparently we paid for the super deluxe midnight special, which was once they were done with the tour, you could just do whatever you want. Just walk around the whole thing.
And then everybody got a happy ending.
Yeah. So they took us to places, and he showed us like the Sugar Shack.
Explain the Sugar Shack.
So the Sugar Shack was, so I don't remember when they told us when, but I remember when they said they stopped the practice. But up until a point, they would allow, the prisoners that are out in the yard, just having their free time, that there was almost like a jumbo crawl space. Like their ceiling was probably about 7 feet tall. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't quite a basement, but it was like where the boilers were and stuff. But there was like a room that the prisoners could use, for whatever they wanted. And the prison officials, as long as no one got killed down there or there was no fights, they didn't really care what they did down there. So the prisoners apparently used it as their love shack.
Sweet, passionate love
Good
to
for
each other.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's the thing. As long as they kept it,
Yeah, as long as the prisoner, the prisoners were very strict about, what went on down there. Nothing, no fights or killings took place there because it was their little,
Love
their hideaway.
Yeah, their paradise, their little getaway. So they didn't want to lose it.
I'm going to say I'm pro-gay prison sex. Good for them.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, you just put the idea of the song Paradise by the Boiler Room Lights in my head. And
I was thinking the Sugar Shack song.
Oh.
From the 50s or something.
Oh, yeah.
They did I can't remember the story, but there was a story about someone that did get killed in the boiler room area, but I can't remember the story.
He died from too much pleasure.
But anyway, the creepiest part for me, or us, was, so we kind of broke off in 2 or 3 groups, because it was I think almost, like I said, about 20 of us on this trip. So, it was like groups of 4 or 5 just walking around. One of the other things of note of this prison was Charles Manson's mom was incarcerated there. Mm-hmm. And Charles Manson, as a boy,
she was a prostitute and a career criminal. Yeah. Oh. She traded Charles for some whiskey in a bar one time, and then the bar owner was like, no, you got to give the baby back.
Yeah, kid stood no chance.
But young Charles spent a little bit of his youth in that prison.
This is probably where he learned about that sort of stuff. I think they mentioned this in the last podcast.
He killed the dude in the boiler room.
He did not.
But so really interesting. There was these large iron turnstiles for admittance in what used to be the main hall, I think, at the in the beginning, but they were just these huge wrought iron, it's hard to describe. There were just 2 of them as basically like prison airlocks, so you can't, prisoners can't escape out the front door because only one person can go through at a time. But anyway, the creepy thing was, there was upstairs was the infirmary / psych ward, and there was nothing there. Well, there's a little bit there, some one room I think they had still set up as kind of a display, but most of the rooms were still pretty empty.
I'm just gonna say nothing good ever happens in a prison psych ward.
Oh no. But no, so we're there, and one of the guys was like, hey, turn your lights off. So we all turned our lights off, and as our eyes are adjusting to the darkness, we hear this kind of, and so someone turns their light on, and it stops. And he's like, no, turn it off. So they turn the light off again, and after a few minutes, and someone turns their lights on, and they're like, fuck it, no. What is that? What the fuck is that?
Yeah, I don't like this at all.
Is it chains or something?
No.
The best it was this scratching kind of, the best I could come up with was rats.
It was mice or rats, yes.
And they were scared by the light. When the light was on, they would stop. I'm like, what's that?
It was ghost rats.
But it was in the
Dead
ceiling.
rats.
It was above us.
Squirrels.
So
ghost squirrels.
And then as we're after that close encounter that, everyone kind of was on edge from that. We've kind of almost convinced ourselves it was rats. I convinced myself, but we're walking through a part where it kind of narrows because there's rooms on either side, and someone jumps out of one of the rooms that was part of one of the other group, one of our group, but part of the other smaller group. They jump out of the side room, and everyone just jumps and shits themselves.
Fucking goons. Oh god, that's great. That's like I'd like to be on that tour, but also, man, fuck that shit.
Yeah, the solitary cells were very creepy because how small they were.
Oh yeah,
and how so there's I can't remember who he was. He was a fairly well-known criminal, but anyway, he was basically the godfather of the prison because anything he said went. And forget who it was, but he had someone. I wish I could remember the story. There's a lot I can't do it justice because I can't remember enough details.
Yeah,
but anyway, he had someone killed while in solitary just to prove that he could reach.
You can't get away from me.
And then no one could figure out how he got it instructed because no one was supposed to be able to communicate with him.
Satan.
Yeah.
Ouija board.
We're going to come back to you, and I want to hear your Ouija story. So, thank you for that, Mike. I always enjoy hearing about that prison.
Yeah, we should go sometime.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, that'd be great.
Hey,
what happened to Kevin? He's dead.
He's dead. That paranormal group I was with, I never went, but they would go to Sloss Furnace a lot. I think it's in Alabama.
Yeah, it is, and they do fucking concerts at the thing. One of our mutual friends went to a concert there, and it was apparently creepy as fuck.
Yeah, no thanks, I'm not going there.
So, David, you had another story that you wanted to tell after Child's Play.
Yeah, and I think this will be the last story I have, because I have some other stuff that I'm thinking about, but I would need to, talk to some people to make sure that I have the events right.
Yeah, and I got, one other story after that, but...
Yeah.
Somebody say...
So... the story, I actually ended up making a little comic book about it. I think you might have read it, Kevin. It was the Goblin.
The Goblin. Kinda.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell the story anyway. So.
I'll remember it as you go.
So, first thing you need to know is that I was a dirt child. I was, I was one of those kids who was outside all the time. I would, dig holes and shit like that.
Same.
So I spent a lot of my time, because number one, I was a latchkey kid.
Yeah.
And then, I would spend all my time with, a shovel in my hand playing in the dirt. So at the time, I must have been about 9 or 10 years old. We were living in an apartment complex in a large lot that hadn't really, next to a large lot that hadn't been developed. This is, a lot of age. In fact, it was a dirt road. There was a dirt road that ran through the lot to get to the expressway.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a wonderful blank canvas for someone like me. But another thing about the place was at one point there was a house that was supposed to be built there.
Okay.
The problem is the house was never built, but a lot of the foundation was still there.
Oh.
And the area had kind of gotten overgrown and everything like that. Not many people spend time in this field. There were dirt bike tracks, everything like that. There were also kind of mounds of junk, just dirt and tires and scrap metal and stuff like that. It's a real tetanus shot thing.
Yeah.
So me being me at the time, I'd spend all my time out in that field. I'd hang around the junk piles. I'd try to build shit and everything like that. Mm-hmm. Well, I was out one day and I was walking towards the foundation to that house. Now this foundation, the foundation's very clear. You look at it and there was going to be a house there. And it was surrounded by tall trees. The only trees that were in that field were surrounding that foundation. So it's already kind of creepy.
Yeah.
So as I'm approaching, I see something standing like in the field, just in front of the foundation. And the best way I could describe it is it looked like an imp. Very, very small, kind of shadowy humanoid, large eyes. Really freaky. And this is probably around like 6, 7 o'clock at night, so it's starting to get dark and everything like that. So naturally, my first instinct is to chase it.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah. So I'm literally chasing.
You tried to become Chucky, and then you chased an imp.
Yeah. I'm very fun at haunted houses, by the way. So I'm literally like chasing this thing, and this thing is kind of like scampering. You know, like where it's mostly on 2 legs, but also it will. Like a chimp or something, you know what I mean? Where it will also like try to like use its 4 legs to move forward. Like the thing was standing upright, it scampers off, and sure enough, it scampers to this hole that's in one of these mounds. And it was a hole that I had not noticed before. But when I approached the hole, like the thing was gone, like it was gone.
Right.
When I approached the hole, I noticed that it went really, really, really deep. And I had started to dig it up a little bit, but it was getting too dark by then, and I was a little creeped out at that point. So, like, I went home, but this is like...
Yeah.
It was enough of a experience to leave an impression on me, and I ended up making that little slightly autobiographical comment about it. And I think you've seen what it looks like. It looks like that little tiny...
Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember that.
I don't know what the fuck that was.
I can tell you right now, going by this show's pet theory, I think you may have met an inhabitant of Magonia.
But what?
That's entirely possible. Like, I didn't know that stuff then, but thinking back about it now, like...
You had a foldover event where you saw something.
And, and the weird thing was, like, the next day, I'm trying to go back, and I'm trying to look for that hole, and it's gone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, it was just a very weird... Like, and I'm sure I was probably, I don't know, tripping out on some gas or something like that.
Huffing fumes.
But it was just one of those things that, again, like, you can't really explain it, and any explanation you have for it that tries to rationalize it just doesn't make sense.
Hey, it's dumber than just I saw an imp.
Yeah, like maybe it was a raccoon. Well, like it didn't have a tail.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a tailless raccoon. Well, now you're changing the facts just to justify your theory. So,
and the funny thing is you're talking about this, and the fact that you use the word scamper, it just sounds so damn playful.
Yeah, like it wasn't like if anything, I was being the aggressor here. I was being the asshole.
You're chasing it.
This thing's like probably just chilling out, and I'm like, hey, come back here.
Would you chase an imp if you saw one?
Depends.
Like if you were 9 years old and you saw an imp, would you chase it?
9-year-old me?
No.
I don't know.
Clark, you wouldn't?
No.
Oh no, I'd run screaming. I saw a thing. Shut up.
I'd be like, I'm obviously having a seizure.
That's what it is. I still like that story. My last one for the night involves Mike and another friend of ours named Max.
So I forgot about this one.
Oh yeah, no, this is a great one. So me and Mike and our friend Max we're taking a bit of a tour of just old sites in Mississippi. I don't know how else to explain it. Like we went to Grand Gulf. We went to what's it called, Mike? The columns, Windsor Ruins. Windsor Ruins. Former antebellum plantation house that burned down, and the only thing left are the columns. If you're a photographer in the state of Mississippi, I believe by law you have to take pictures of the columns.
It's on penalty of beatings.
Yeah, I mean, like Eudora Welty fucking took pictures of these things. I mean, like, yeah. So anyway, we did all this stuff, and Max is like, "Hey, I know a place where we can get a really good look at the nuclear cooling tower. Which already is like, what the fuck? So
now I know why you were there.
yeah, well, we're young and stupid. And we're just driving around, and he knows this overlook. And Grand Gulf is basically the nuclear power plant in Mississippi. But we get none of our power from it. It all goes out of state.
Lame.
Yeah, real lame. So we pull up at this little wooden one-room shack house thing, and there's a car in front of us. And when we pull up behind him and turn the engine off, we see a dude's head pop up in the driver's seat, and then a woman's head pop up out of his lap, and they drive off. So
what were they doing?
They were telling secrets, Clark.
Oh.
He
Yeah.
was extracting orgon energy.
Yeah. That's it.
Oh, yeah. Good old Oregon Energy BRB charging my crystals. So, available in the store. So, we get out of the car, and Max is like, okay, it's this way. I don't know how the fuck Max knew where this damn thing was. I don't know what his fucking family does out there. So, it's a long fucking walk. Right, Mike?
Yes.
Yeah, long walk. Like, we had to scramble over this big-ass fallen tree. Not a log, a tree. And, we basically had to climb over it. Not with huge difficulty, but, And we emerge on this ledge thing, well, at the top of a hill, like a steep hill, very steep hill, with a forest below us, And there on the horizon is the cooling tower for Grand Gulf Nuclear Power Plant. And it's sunset. The sky is beautiful. The steam coming out of the reactor is a nice shade of pink. It's beautiful, really. And we're just kind of there taking it in. And then below us, not far away, we hear a loud crash. Like, real loud. And me and Max, without exchanging a word or a look, both immediately ran. Now, Mike, did you pull your knife out, Mike?
I don't think so.
Okay, I thought you said you pulled your knife out, but...
No, I don't believe so.
But Mike turned to say, what was that? And sees, we're gone. So Mike takes off after us. And he manages to catch up with us. It was a good, 5-6 minute walk from the car to the overlook. And Mike catches up with us. He's like, Jesus Christ, geez, how much further is it to that log? And I'm like, Mike, we jumped over the log already. Like, Mike didn't even realize we had gotten over the tree. We jump in the car and just take off, just tear ass down this little country road. And we're like, because we're terrified and we've been running.
So what you're saying is you're going to leave Mike there.
Well, we didn't plan to leave Mike there. I assumed Mike would run like us cowards. But Mike had courage until he realized he had been left on the ledge.
Yeah, when I realized I was alone, then is when I panicked.
Yes. So we get in the car and we're panting. I'm like, what do you think that was? And Mike says, probably a bear. I'm like, yeah, a bear. And Mike and Max both turn and look at me. And it seemed to take forever for them to look back at me. And Max goes, well, what did you think it was? And I say, I thought Bigfoot was coming to kill me. And I have not lived that down to this day. And the only thing I can say to that is, so I finally got to use that in an episode of this show.
Nice.
So, now
we
Mike,
get to see
you're
Bigfoot.
You're out of story. Yeah, we're gonna be at the Bigfoot Fest.
So I do want to make a correction. I looked it up. The penitentiary I went to was the West Virginia Penitentiary in Moundsville, West Virginia.
Moundsville.
That's where Jennifer
Allegheny
Tilly's
is
from.
actually near Pittsburgh.
I'm flipping you off as hard as I can.
That's fine.
No, it's not. So, all right. So, Moundsville, West Virginia Penitentiary in Moundsville, not the Allegheny prison.
No.
All right.
I post. Oh, that looks really nice from there. I was looking it up and I saw a picture of the outside. And
I wouldn't mind living in that
in the
prison.
Discord, I did post some pictures of that I took.
Okay.
Of the very spooky.
Oh,
prison.
hey, yeah, the blue, and there's the.
It looks like a freaking castle. Oh, and I was also wrong. It was built in the 1800s.
Holy shit.
Like 1850s.
Oh, I remember the
1860s
goblin.
area.
Yes, I remember that weird little thing, David. Thank you.
I posted in the Discord.
Thank you, guys. If you want to see any of the stuff we've been talking about, we've posted pictures of several things here, including a download of the comic, The Goblin. And you can find it in our Discord. There's a link on supernatpod.rocks. So that's my Bigfoot story. That's the last one I got. David, you had your last one. Mike, you got anything real quick before we move on to the final story of the evening?
The fact that the prison was shut down or had numerous riots because of how terrible the living conditions were.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sucks.
I think I saw that prison on an episode of Ghost Adventures.
It was. And the people that run the tours are very angry at those people because they in the Sugar Shack, they painted a silhouette on the wall to be seen in the distance to make it look like seeing something.
Motherfuckers.
Yeah.
See, I hate those shows because when we were doing those ghost hunting stuff, it just gives us a bad name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They painted on a wall and did not ask permission, didn't say anything about it. They didn't find out until they were going down there after they were gone and found this, painting on the wall.
Assholes.
Yeah.
Damn.
Fuck. So remember, guys, don't trust television paranormal investigations.
Yeah.
Trust us.
Also, don't trust
Until
ones
we
that
get
charge.
a show.
Until we get a show and
Yeah.
then trust us.
Yeah.
And looking at it, looks like they've renovated some since the last time I was there.
Huh.
Looks a little better.
Why they've
better
sent new
condition.
prisoners in to die.
Yeah. So I would definitely A+ would recommend if you're in rural as fuck West Virginia.
Just if you hear the
it's in
banjos,
the-
start running.
It's like in the very north tip of West Virginia.
So, Clark, you get the honor of the last story for the
I
night.
feel so special.
You can tell us about your experience with a spirit board.
Well, when I was 6 or 7 or so, my stepmother's mother
Yeah.
asked for a list of what I wanted for Christmas. And so I put on their Ouija board for some reason. I don't know why.
The devil.
Yeah, well, she bought me
devil.
one. And my stepmother and father were not very happy about it.
I can imagine.
But,
Bear in mind, everybody, we're in Mississippi. That is a hanging offense around here.
yeah. So I never actually used it till I was more like 8, 9 or so. And I had some friends and we used it and it was fun. Haha. Well, then I started using it by myself.
Oh,
which you're
you
not
dumbass.
supposed to do. But the last time I used it, I was playing with it alone, and I asked.
I should hope so.
Yeah, I asked who I was speaking to. So it went to the letter D, and then the letter E, and then the letter V, and I put it back in the box.
Wow.
I don't know if the guy's name was Devin or if it was spelling devil.
Well, that reminds me of Ben Kissel's story where they had a demon they talked to repeatedly named Deb. Well, Deb tried to kill one of their friends that made fun of the demon and poured Mountain Dew on the Ouija board. His headlights went out in the road and a car almost hit him on the way home that night. So that was a fucked up story.
Yeah. So
But,
I put it away. I think I actually didn't get rid of it till like 7, 8 years ago. But it was made by Mattel or somebody.
Milton Bradley.
Yeah, you can still buy them apparently.
Oh yeah, no, they're available at your less reputable. No, they're
make
available
movies
at
about
toy
them now.
stores. Yeah, shitty ones.
Yeah, don't do it.
Yeah. So that being said, thank you guys, all three of you, for your stories tonight. I have really enjoyed them. I'm sure everyone else has as well.
Yes.
Also, it's just great to have the family together. You know,
We gotta get old David down in Mississippi.
Oh,
That would be wonderful.
That would.
Like, I have family back east in Indiana. How far is Indiana from Mississippi?
A ways.
Yeah.
Okay, shit, never mind.
Come on down for the Bigfoot Fest.
Yeah, that'd be
I would
great.
love that.
That's actually next Saturday,
Saturday.
November 6th. We actually have some DV and Behavior Radio cups. Mm-hmm. They're really cool.
shit.
And some stickers.
We're going to have some stickers. We might have some keychains.
I'm going to try to 3D print some stuff for it.
It should be fun. We're going to have a ball.
I won't be
We need
there
that
'cause
big
I'm at
feet,
work.
big dick shirt.
We really do need a big feet, big dick shirt. So we had a couple of questions, and unfortunately, I wish I had read this one before we were halfway through the episode. Ghost Forge, big time fan of the show and wonderful contributor, asked, please share some of the more profound paranormal experiences you've had, because it's always cool hearing about that one point where someone goes, no, fuck it, there's something spooky going on here, and how it changed your mindset going further. So,
Note my comment below that.
yeah, would actually work to kick off the episode.
That's kind of what this
to be
episode
honest.
was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. So, thank you, Ghost Forge.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed
and I would
your...
say that I've never said, nah, fuck it, there's something spooky going on here.
Yeah, that's true. He hasn't. I have, and I know David has.
Yeah. Well, and Ghost Forge, you know what? Just play the episode backwards.
Yeah,
You know.
just start here and then go back an hour and a half. In fact, the entire episode was dedicated to you for this. So, let's see.
Has anyone done any ridiculous paranormal experiences?
Yeah, Blue Canary Kit. I want to know what's the most ridiculous paranormal experience you've had.
I don't know, like, I mean, the ridiculous, like...
Well, I thought I developed telekinesis at one point, because every time I moved a plate with a donut on it toward me, it scooted away. And I thought, like, I was moving it. It turned out it was actually on a doily, and it just kept, the doily kept unstretching.
Oh,
So-
yeah, I see. Yeah, you pulled it, yeah.
And the doily would, like, go back to its normal shape and pull the donut with it, and I thought I was a psychic.
You were psychic, but didn't want you to have the donut?
Well, no, Mike, I want you to think about it. I have horrible self-esteem issues, and I hate myself. It's like, no, you can't have the donut. So
you actually thought you couldn't have the donut?
I thought I couldn't have the donut, but you know what? I ate the fuck out of that donut.
I bet you did.
But the thing is, first I had to run tell my mom I think I can move things with the power of my mind, and she said, shut up and eat the donut. So that's the most ridiculous paranormal experience I've ever had. I guess.
I can't think of any ridiculous.
Yeah, I think the Chucky thing is David's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Blue Canary Kid also said to tell him about taunting the ghost.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah, she was with me for that one. She didn't experience anything, she says, so she says, quote, I guess ghosts ignore me, which, awesome. And she also posted a couple of links in there to the Hardy Hotel, and its classification is haunted. So if you want to find out more about that, my beloved Blue Canary Kid has posted links. So, awesome. Again, next Sunday, me and Clark and Blue Canary Kit will actually be at the Natchez Bigfoot Birthday Bash. So if you're...
Gotta be awesome.
Yes, if you're anywhere near the area, please come visit. We're going to be in the VIP tent, getting on the nerves of the professionals.
Yep.
And again, we're going to have a bunch of neat stuff to give out. So
Afro Man's gonna be there.
yeah,
Big
Afro Man. Who is Big Schmo?
He's a white rapper, dude. That's all I know.
Oh.
from a few years ago. Like
Just that
like
grim.
Afro Menace.
Oh.
Well, they've got other like musical artists.
Yeah. I hope so. So, I mean, they got Afro Man. So
They got that girl from American Idol that came in 20th or something.
you keep saying that, and I don't watch those shows.
I don't either.
So, anyway, if that sounds appealing to you, please come to the Bigfoot Birthday Bash in Natchez, Mississippi, November 6th.
Now will Bigfoot be there?
A bunch
maybe.
of Bigfoots will be there.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm gonna laugh if it's a bunch of foot fetishists show up.
I'd say if there was money in it, someone should have rented the monster truck.
Oh, dude, that'd be bad. Man, do you know how many people would show up just for that?
Yep.
Yeah. So,
but you'd accidentally rent barefoot.
oh, there's nothing worse than getting barefoot when you need Bigfoot. So, the next few weeks, let's see, next week we're going to be going back to the Falk Monster with part 3 with me and David. After that, we have got Graham Hancock and stories of lost civilizations with me and Mike. And after that, I don't know who the hosts are going to be, but we're going to tackle a subject new to me. Well, not new to me, but I got a book about a book called The Yellow Book. And we're going to learn about why aliens are here, why Jesus may be an alien, and we're going to learn that Greys have no concept of personal space. So, that's what you got to look forward to for the next month, basically. And, guys, again, thank you so much for being on the show. I always appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, that is it for now. Check us out at supernatpod.rocks. You can find links to everything. We're on the socials. You can find us by searching at supernatpod on Facebook and Twitter. Join us on Patreon. Dave Holyfield, still king of the podcast. And, yeah, join us on the Discord. Lots of fun stuff going on there. So, everybody stay safe. And until next time, stay frosty. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I gotta pee.
That's taking
Me
it.
too.
I know.
We all do.